Only the S26 Ultra is expected to feature Snapdragon chips, according to a recent leak. As we approach the anticipated launch of the S26, key details regarding the phone's camera hardware and chipset remain unverified. However, a new report aims to clarify the processors designated for each S26 variant. This information, particularly concerning the Galaxy S26 Ultra, may pique the interest of Snapdragon enthusiasts. Allegedly, the S26 Ultra will be the sole model in the series equipped with a powerful Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 CPU, while the base and Plus models are said to feature the Exynos 2600, indicating a return to Samsung's dual-chip strategy. Furthermore, this latest claim aligns with previously suggested launch timelines. The highly anticipated S26 series is poised to introduce a new chapter in the ongoing Exynos versus Snapdragon rivalry. Despite robust internal efforts from Samsung's semiconductor division, reports suggest that the company intends to maintain a familiar hierarchy for its next generation of flagship processors, reserving the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 chip for its top-tier device, the Samsung S26 Ultra. Samsung's chip division is making a comeback. Exynos 2600 for the base and Plus Galaxy S26 models, and Snapdragon for the Ultra. According to a report from Korean media outlet Chosun Biz, the premium Galaxy S26 Ultra will be the only model to utilize the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 engine. Meanwhile, the base S26 and the S26 Plus models are expected to incorporate the in-house Exynos 2600 chip. If this is accurate, this proposed division suggests that Samsung is confident enough in the Exynos 2600 to employ it in its core flagship variations, while still recognizing that the Snapdragon brand serves as a significant selling point for the most premium Ultra model. Following the installation of Snapdragon chips in all S25 models, the reintroduction of Exynos in the base and Plus S26 models marks a notable achievement for Samsung's 2nm gate all-around production and chip design. Industry experts believe this development enhances Samsung's negotiating position against Qualcomm. However, analysts predict that the Ultra model is unlikely to feature an Exynos chip until at least the Galaxy S27 in 2027. Regarding the launch timeline, sources suggest that Samsung is targeting a release for the Galaxy S26 series in February 2026, corroborating the previously mentioned date of February 25. Nonetheless, Chosun Biz leaves open the possibility of the unpacked event occurring at the end of January 2026, without affecting the device's availability. While the attention remains on the processor decision, the same claim backs up a recent revelation regarding the launch timeline. The insider believes Samsung is aiming for a February 2026 launch for the S26 series. This matches the previously tipped February 25 date. However, Chosun Biz keeps the door open to the unpacked event taking place at the end of January 2026, without affecting the availability of the devices for the following month. The business apparently worked hard to hasten the timeline after initial product composition changes, like deleting the Edge and re-including the Plus model, threatened the delay until March. For consumers, this chip option might carry a noteworthy potential consequence: price. Since the Qualcomm is substantially pricier than the Exynos 2600, and with general component costs growing internationally, the industry commonly anticipates the Snapdragon exclusive S26 Ultra to face an unavoidable price rise. Buyers of the S26 and S26 Plus, meanwhile, can look forward to perhaps increased performance without necessarily a price increase, although this is just speculation at this time. Thermal throttling isn't a problem or a malfunction of the device. It's rather a safety feature that's built in by the producers. Silicon chips have an operational temperature range, and when the hardware goes above the top temperature barrier, this safety mechanism engages. It slows the performance until the temperature drops in order to safeguard the silicon from permanent damage. That's why there's typically a tremendous disparity between peak performance and continuous performance. And when we talk about smartphones, this thermal throttling can be very severe because everything is so tightly packed that a minor temperature spike can swiftly snowball. There's nowhere for the heat to go, basically. This is why cooling is becoming one of the main characteristics of current cell phones. 2. The Galaxy S25 Ultra thermal throttling problems. Even the most costly flagship phones aren't immune to thermal throttling, and the S25 Ultra is one such example. One may assume the very massive chassis of the S25 Ultra would aid with cooling, but that's not the case. The phone performance drops off a cliff after the first pass in 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme Stress Test, and even subsequent Geekbench tests return lower performance numbers. We're talking about a 46% stability score, which is extremely low. Not to mention the phone becomes extremely hot, as you can see in the FLIR images are shown. 3. Water cooling on a smartphone. Wait, what? You read that one right. The current flagship model of the company has a unique and rather advanced dynamic liquid and air cooling system. Red Magic says it's the world's first such system, and I'm inclined to believe this statement. I've never seen such a thing on a phone so far. Technically, the liquid is not water, but a server-grade fluorinated liquid. It's just water impregnated with fluorine atoms to make it non-conductive and thermally stable. It's also chemically inert, which means it does not react with other materials such as metals, plastics, rubber, and glass. These qualities make it great for cooling electronics, and Red Magic has managed to develop a small liquid cooling system inside the 11 Pro. The system features a tiny 0.85mm ceramic micro pump that pushes the liquid and a watertight fan rotating at 24,000 rev per minute. These function in unison with a vapor chamber system created with liquid metal to boost the total cooling efficiency by 50%, according to Red Magic. While Apple and Samsung are only getting into the vapor chamber magic, the Pro models in the iPhone 17 series are the first ones to contain this tech. This might be a fantastic opportunity for some innovation that's genuinely beneficial. The S26 Ultra seems too near to its launch date to incorporate this pretty extreme water cooling function. Nevertheless, I actually think that cooling is an undervalued factor in modern phones, and every flagship might benefit from this innovative solution that Red Magic showed. We're constantly assaulted with high figures with every new chip, but corporations rarely talk about consistent performance. In the actual world, we don't use our smartphones for brief bursts of peak performance. Most of the tasks we do take time, which means we need continuous performance to realize the benefits of a new silicon. Wouldn't it be fantastic to acquire a water-cooled S26 Ultra, or perhaps an iPhone 18 Pro Max, for example? I realize it sounds a bit radical, but what do you think? Reputable source Ice Universe has some wonderful news for photography buffs and Galaxy fans. The S26 Ultra may gain a sophisticated photographic function Galaxy S phones originally featured, but for some reason, Samsung abandoned. Well, it seems Samsung may be bringing it back next year. Ice Universe, who has a very excellent track record of trustworthy leaks and rumors, suggests that Samsung may adorn the S26 Ultra's camera with variable aperture. Reportedly, the feature may be reserved just for the primary camera of the flagship. Variable aperture is not something no other phone maker is offering. In reality, Huawei and Xiaomi are offering it on their flagships, but these two businesses didn't come up with it first. It was Samsung who originally debuted dual aperture with the Galaxy S9 series. Dual aperture means that these phones may switch between an f/1.5 and an f/2.4, depending on the scene. Going for the f/1.5 option allows the phone's camera to capture more light into the sensor, giving you decreased noise in a low light condition. But an f/1.5 also offers you a fuzzy background, which isn't good for landscape photographs, for example. An s/2.4 would be ideal for daylight circumstances and scenarios where you need more of the photo to be in focus. Well, Samsung nuked the dual aperture feature from the S20 series, and it hasn't been restored since then. According to ICE, it may come back. Of course, it's extremely early to know about anything when it comes to next year's phones, but let's see who gets variable aperture and who doesn't. Another noteworthy piece of news is the revelation regarding endurance. The S26 Ultra, it is believed that Samsung would not exceed magic again. The battery capacity restriction is 5,000 mAh, although the flagship model should still last longer than its predecessor. Thanks to the optimization of energy economy and adaptive battery algorithms, it could approach 2 days and new features discovered in the One UI 8.5. The same leaker also published the estimated dimensions of the S26 Ultra. The mobile should have a height of 163.4 millimeters, a width of 77.9 millimeters, and a thickness of 7.9 millimeters. That's more than the S25 Ultra, whose dimensions are 162.8 by 77.6 by 8.2 millimeters. The diagonal of the display should not alter. In addition, the sides of the mobile phone will be, according to earlier sources, more rounded, albeit not as much as with the iPhone 17 Pro Max. It will be a rather large phone, which will unfortunately also have a high price. Samsung makes no secret of the fact that it will increase the price. So that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more tech news and updates.